Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, what is poppin', lockin', and what's dropping, baby? Welcome back to the journey, back to the series, and most specifically to this video. Now, today, we are going to be going over my other high-protein grocery haul. It's not consistent, it's just kind of like what I'm feeling. But the meals for this week are going to be pretty simplistic again, mainly because this week's going to be a little rough with trying to cook and so forth, but in the following weeks, we should be a little bit more creative on my dishes. But I think without further ado, let's go over for my OMAD meal, as I'm going to be cooking later today because I am absolutely starving and that time is coming up pretty soon. Ladies and gentlemen of the tutorial, let's go ahead and go over what I eat for my OMAD this week. Now we're starting off with the most basic chicken breast. How much is this? 1.2 pounds of chicken breast here. I'm going to be going ahead, chopping this guy up, throwing in the air fryer, get them all crisp up, getting ready to consume. Chicken breasts are very good in protein, low in fat, and fairly low in calorie too, which is pretty cool. That and Walmart had it on sale for $6.80, probably because I need to cook it like today. I got this yesterday. So next up on the chopping block, we got some shrimp. Shrimp is probably one of the best proteins you can consume. These water cockroaches can give you so much protein for very low calories. I'm talking, what is this? 4 ounces of shrimp is 60 calories for 15 grams of protein. That's badonkers. And they got this entire bag, which is 12 ounces. So what is it? 0.34 pounds of shrimp right here. We're gonna be cooking this with the chicken as well for a double protein intake. Last but not least, for our OMAD meal, we got this guy. So if you don't know what this is called a spaghetti squash. Why do they call it spaghetti squash? It's because the inside of the squash, when you cook it, the fibers in it look like spaghetti. And then so this is also a very good alternative for pasta, and you can use this. It's a little bit on the crunchier side, but if you put some oil on this, some salt and pepper and garlic, and you bake this in the oven for an hour, you're gonna be golden. So we're gonna be cooking this guy for my OMAD as well. Usually I have a grain with it or some sort of rice or potato, but this guy's big enough. I think it should suffice for what I need. By the way, these spaghetti squashes are humongous. So I may have a video on how I cook these already. I can't remember, maybe on my first series, but if you guys have never heard of spaghetti squash, I would highly recommend looking into them because they're a great source of fiber and they have a lot of other better nutrients in it, as well as being pretty good overall for you. So we got chicken, shrimp, and spaghetti squash. Now let's go over meal one. So when I say simplistic, I'm talking like simplistic. So we got 3 pounds of organic 93.7 ground beef. It's ground beef, nothing really much to go for it. Low-ish in calories. The lower fat content in your protein will typically mean lower in calorie. So, but the protein will sometimes go up, sometimes go down because you're using more of the meat than the fat. So that's kind of how the fat proportions work for ground beef. But again, I got 3 pounds of this for my meal throughout the rest of the week. Next, we got canned spinach. I know canned vegetables, but it's a lot easier and super convenient. You just get the can opener, pop it open, and then I just pour it right into my meal, mix it in with everything, throw it in the microwave, and heat it up, as this will be a grand fiber and a little bit of protein too. This whole can is actually 9 grams of protein with 75 calories. So spinach, at least I dropped it, canned spinach is actually passes the protein test. So a vegetable that's actually really good in protein. Next, we have a bag of rice here. This is, I'm not pronouncing that, but this is the brand. I have 3 bags of this. I'm using 1/2 bag per serving. So it's 460 calories per bag with 9 grams of protein. That's actually one of the highest I've seen on rice. It's just jasmine rice, which is pretty cool. So 3 bags of this, 1/2 bag per serving. Now this was on my previous grocery haul, but we have liquid egg whites. I had spare of it. I'm just gonna go ahead and include this in. This was not from this grocery haul, but it's from the previous one. But I'm gonna go ahead and include this into my meal one as well though. But we're using the entire container to kind of split it up upon the 6 meals for the entire week. Now last but not least, I have this guy. This is a hot honey chipotle sauce. It's pretty low in calories. It's 10 calories per serving with a 19 servings total. So fairly low in calorie. I hope it tastes good, but I guess you usually put this on like tacos or whatever. But we're gonna be adding this to our bowl to enhance our flavor profile even more, since our dish is pretty basic. So, but I'll be cooking it, eating it, and I'll give you guys all the macros more towards the end of the video. But I say let's go over meal two. Meal two is going to be pretty simplistic too, as we have turkey breast loins. Now, I think this one's got a leak in it because I think the juices are all over the bag, which is great. But these are really good. They're super moist because most turkey breasts aren't super moist. So it's 100 calories per serving with 21 grams of protein, and it's 4 ounces. And so there's 2 per package, so there's 1.5 pounds of this guy in here. So, but once I start cooking this guy and getting it all done, then I'll go over the macros, of course, at the end. So next for our vegetable intake, we have canned green beans. Kind of, we got canned spinach, now we got canned green beans. So this is no salt added, so we less of the sodium and cholesterol in here, but French cut are typically my favorite, as I actually love French cut green beans. I don't really know why, maybe because they're thinner. So just open this, pour out the juices, and season it with just salt, pepper, and garlic, and you're golden. So we have, was it 15 calories without the juice per serving with 3.5 servings? Pretty low, I'd say. So, canned green beans. And last but not least, we have some bite-sized potatoes here. I have 2 bags of these, so we're gonna be using a third a bag per serving. Potatoes are very filling, and they also have a good amount of potassium in them, so which is great for muscle recovery. And potatoes actually are the food that keeps you full the longest too, if you didn't know about that. So we have some bite-sized potatoes. Very good, very tasty. I say last but not least, let's go to the dessert. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, we're going to be finalizing the grocery portion with dessert, as we have some apple cinnamon rice cakes, and we'll be making with these are my PB&J bruschettas. So for this one, I'm using apple cinnamon. Before I use caramel. You can use chocolate, whatever desserty rice cakes you can get, but we'll have 2 bruschettas per meal. And we're going to be finalizing the peanut butter and the jelly with some PB Fit and some zero sugar blackberry jam. So when you do it, you want to keep it low calorie, make sure you get these guys, as they will help with your low calorie journey. But I think one bruschetta ends up being less than 100 calories, or maybe it's like 110, 120, or because per serving for this is, so, because I use 1 tablespoon of this, or 1 serving, sorry, is 2 tablespoons. So 1 tablespoon of the PB Fit turns out being 40 calories, and then this is 10, and then the bruschetta is like so it ends up being 90 calories per bruschetta. But without further ado, that finalizes the grocery haul portion of the video. We guys went through all my meals, described them, the macros in them, and so forth and so on. Catch you guys then. All right, so this is the end result for the 1 meal a day. As you see here, the spaghetti squash, and as you scrape it, those fibers will start coming out, and it looks like spaghetti. And then I got shrimp here and some chicken, air fried both with some salt, pepper, and garlic seasoning. Although when I bought the shrimp, I didn't realize I had the tails on, so that's gonna be a little annoying to deal with, but overall still tastes pretty good. But I have spaghetti squash here. I used a tablespoon of grapeseed oil per half, and then some butter seasoning go there as well. Shrimp, just yank the tail off, and I'll just throw it on there for trash. That's pretty much it for OMAD. So I'll catch you guys when I start meal 1, which should be tomorrow, but I don't know when I'll film it, probably Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, welcome to the eating portion of the video with guest star Jax. As you can see, he's right here. So I have a little bit of an explanation because I just came back from poll day today. So today's technically Thursday for this week, but this is technically meal 2. So meal 1 was quite a disaster. So meal 1 consisted of a half a pound of 93.7 ground beef, with some egg whites. I believe out of the 32 ounces divided by 6 is 5.33 or something ounces of egg whites. A can of spinach, 12 ounces. And then we had a half a packet of rice, which I believe was 230 calories. So, the beef had this weird metallic taste to it. It was kind of odd because I've cooked a lot of beef before, but this had a very strange taste to it. I couldn't explain to you what it was. And then I cooked the egg whites weird because I cooked it in with the beef grease, and that kind of came out as a disaster. And then the canned spinach was atrocious. That was some of the most disgusting food I've ever had in my life, was that canned spinach. I will never, ever buy canned spinach again. That was terrible. So, meal 1 is more so my fault than anything. So it's not consistent this week, if I put it that way, for meals. So I'm thinking what I'll do is, I don't even know how to do this because trying to get this video uploaded, it's not even going to be through the entire week. So explain a couple things. I had a chopped salad bowl, and then I had some stuff from Wawa, like turkey bites, grapes, a salad from there. I try to keep everything pretty healthy. And when I go out to eat tonight, I'm going to this place called Cold and Salsa, which is a Venezuelan restaurant. So we'll be trying some Venezuelan food, but trying to keep it relatively healthy as well. So we're gonna be using Cal AI, see how great they'll capture everything. But so meal 1 was a bit of a failure, but I think for next week we're definitely going to improve on that. But what didn't fail was a glorious meal 2. As you can see here, we have our meal 2. So what's in this is essentially 12 ounces of turkey breast loin. So that's 100 calories per serving. I think it's 3 servings. I think each serving's 4 ounces, and it's got like 21 grams of protein per serving too. So we're at 63 grams of protein. We have 8 ounces of a potato melody. I think the only 2 potato types in here are red and golden potatoes. But that, I think it's under 100 calories just for that. And then a can of green beans. The green beans were great. If I strain them, put them in the microwave, put some seasoning on them, the green beans come out fantastic. By the way, which are French cut. I believe they're 12 ounces for the whole can, but I have to double check when I put all the macros in. And then they're topped with Taste Flavor Co.'s cherry barbecue sauce, which, by the way, I want to explain a little something. So they come out with 2 barbecue flavors. So that's savory Korean barbecue and sweet barbecue. I have a little bit of a diploma with that because they have cherry barbecue and then sweet barbecue. I don't really know quite what the difference is besides one having more of a cherry flavor to it versus one just being like a sweet barbecue. And then the Korean one makes a little bit more sense, but to me, I feel like that kind of tastes more like the teriyaki. You just get the teriyaki and take the barbecue and then mix it together. I feel like you would have pretty much a Korean barbecue, but I don't know. But we have our first bite here of green bean, turkey, and potato. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. I mean, that's pretty much it. Nothing really much to it. Just turkey, potato, and green bean with the sauce on it. The sauce enhances the flavor, of course. Taste Flavor Co.'s barbecue sauce. I think it's only 10 calories per serving. I have maybe about 3 servings of this on here, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this guy off. I'm actually going to be making dessert, because technically I'm eating this for lunch, but I'll be making the dessert and then wrapping up at the end of everything. I'm not really going to put my total calories because I think it's pretty sporadic, but I'll put an average for, I guess, throughout the week in this video. So I'll catch you guys when I'm getting ready for dessert. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, it is time for dessert. And what we got here is the return of our peanut butter and jelly bruschettas. I love these things, dude. They're great. And 2 of them, 170 calories. Oh, yeah. So, nice glob of peanut butter and jam here. These are just fantastic. The big differences here from the one I had last time for this one is I used blackberry jam and apple cinnamon rice cakes. The apple cinnamon flavoring is quite overpowering, but I think it does blend in really well with the peanut butter and jam. But, of course, make sure you use 0 sugar jam. PB Fit has more protein powder, or sorry, not protein powder. PB Fit has more protein in it. And then you can use any kind of dessert rice cake or even just a bland rice cake. I know they have chocolate, apple, cinnamon, and then caramel. So I think all 3 of those go really good. I think the next one I'm going to try with chocolate. But that's pretty much it for that. But man, I'm just... Oh, so good, guys. Ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, I decided not to really do the general in a day just because of the meal 1 being kind of a mess up. And I think the data is going to be so sporadic that I don't think it would be fair. But I will present, obviously, you guys with the data for meal 2 and for dessert. So meal 2 would be presented here. And you guys take a minute to read it. I don't really know everything on top of my head. And then we got dessert, the data for dessert here as well. So I'll give you guys a minute to look it over. But ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, thank you so much for tuning in. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking your time to watch my journey as you watch me continue to grow and to learn from a journey. Hopefully this will inspire you guys to start your journeys if you would like to as well. If you're also enjoying the journey, to like, comment, subscribe, and share, especially the ones who are willing and wanting to start their fitness journeys. We're on the internet, so we gotta learn to take it. Comment anything positive or negative. If I'm doing anything kind of weird, wrong, feel free to mention it down there. We're all here to learn, so. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world, thank you again from the bottom of my heart for tuning in to the channel, and I'm hoping to upload more for you guys, so you guys can see how the journey's going, and it's going great, baby. Stay disciplined, stay focused. Catch you guys on whatever I upload next. Peace.